All right, well, I am going to show you how you can make a lead magnet opt-in process for free using the Google products. And I'm honestly not a big Google fan for lots of reasons, but I have found that for certain applications, this uh, these tools can actually be very useful. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways I've used them, and then I'm going to show you how to create them. And that way you will have a better idea of how you can possibly use Google Forms for either your opt-in process or other things, because there are a lot of different applications that you can apply this to. So let me hop over now. So I am going to go to, I'm going to get out of Canva. If you don't have you used Canva, it's awesome. You can see what I did there. But I am going to show you Google Forms. And so in your Google account, I believe on the left-hand side, once you're logged in, you can see there's Google Docs, Google Sheets, Slides, Forms, and then Google Drive. And you can just go in and mm, go to Google Docs. You can see up in the browser window. And you can see here, these are all the forms that I've created that I use. And I'm going to show you, let's see, I'm going to show you this. This one is for Toastmasters. I created it in here, and it is for a professional development series that we made, and we wanted to have our members sign up to present. And so I created the different components, which I'm not going to get into that right now. And then I'm going to show you preview. So if somebody actually goes to the link, it will bring up that form. And what's nice about Google Forms is if somebody's already filled out a form, then it will let them know. And you can create a setting for them to go back in and edit. So I've already filled out the form. And what I'm going to do is go back and edit my response. And now it's going to bring that form back up where I can make changes to the different fields. Okay, so that's one application. Another application, I'm going to close this out, is for my simple self-publishing website. And this is for when I help people self-publish. I wanted to make it as simple as possible. And so down below, once they're a client, it's just very simple for them to submit the requirements, let's say for the cover design. So they just click here to submit your cover design details. And then that brings them to a separate page on my website. And what I've done is I've embedded that form. You can see down below, that form is embedded right on my website. So then that way I can ask any questions, and those custom fields will be filled out by the user, and then that data will come to me. So that's a second option. You can embed a form into an existing website you have. So I love that. I use that in different areas because I don't always want that data to go into my CRM, my email marketing system, because I don't necessarily need that information in any other way other than that specific project. Okay, so that's one. And then the third option is I created a website for when my mom passed, and it is the Legacy Journal. And then I actually created a button on that website. And so if somebody clicks the button, it will link to the form for somebody to fill out that will share their memories about my mom. And then we're creating a legacy book for her. So you can actually just use the actual form that you create and link to the form. You can create a button on your website, or you can embed that form into your website. So I'm going to go back here because I'm going to close out of all of that one form. And you can see these are all the different forms I have. But let's go ahead and create a new form. So you click down at the bottom. No, before we create a new form, I'm going to show you how that data comes to you. That way, when I create the form, you can see how I connect the two. So right now we're in Forms. So I'm going to go to Google Sheets. You can see here now I'm changing to Google Sheets, and you can see here, these are all the sheets that I have connected to my forms. And a Google Sheet is simply Google's version of a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to go back to that Toastmaster Professional Development Series form data. I'm going to click on that, and you're going to see it's going to open up a spreadsheet, and everybody that filled out that form, that data is going directly into that particular spreadsheet. And you can see I have the same thing for my mom's legacy journal when I created that last year. Everything I do that I have a form for is connected to a spreadsheet. And then here's, I used to have my podcast form that was on here too, which I changed my system for that. But you can see all of the people at one point that had signed up to be a guest on my podcast. All of the data are in the different fields. And so for your opt-in, you can start collecting everybody's email addresses and then be able to then add that data to your email marketing system, or you can email them individually up front. I mean, it really depends on how far along you are in your business. All right, so let's go back to Google Form, because it all starts with a form. That's where we're going to collect the data, and then I will show you how to connect that data into a spreadsheet. So we're going to create a new form. And you have the ability to make lots of different customizations. Let's first title the form, because otherwise you'll go through this whole thing and it'll just say untitled form. And then when you have a lot of forms, opt-in test. Okay, so that's what we're going to name it. I love Google processes in one way because it automatically saves everything all the time. So it is saved. I'm going to change the theme. Right now it's a purple theme. Let's change it to a gray theme. You can see how it's changed. You could also go in and add your custom color, whatever color you want. Let's go ahead and say that's my custom color. Now it changes to red, and I'm going to go a white background. And then my font style, I'm just going to keep it basic, but you can see you can do, let's do playful just for fun. It looks like there's just 4 different styles. Okay. So, and then you can put a header in, a header image. Now, you want to make sure your header image, when you upload it, it is more of a narrow oblong rectangle image. These are photos that I've used for other things in this system. So I would browse and pick a image. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go, because I just created an image in Canva. It's not going to be the exact right size, but you can see it's like an oblong size, and I don't think I could make it any bigger, but I could move it to show exactly what area I want to connect. And it is a GIF, which means it's a yeah, I don't think it's going to let me, because, oh, it may, I think it's thinking. So a GIF is a automated image. All right, well, it converted it to a JPEG. So it is a blah basic image. So let's do this. Let's add one of their images. So we're going to use jelly beans. Oh, no, not jelly beans, some kind of candy. Oh, not jelly beans, but I don't know, Micah Nikes or something. Okay, so now we've got that. My color changed to yellow because that is the color that goes with those image. So I want to go back and change it to red and white background. I think that's white. I don't know if that's actually white, but it looks like those are the only options that we have with this, with red. Okay. All right, so now we've got a header. We're going to close this out, and we're going to start adding sections and questions. Now, there's always going to be one in there because they get you started, but on the right-hand side, there's a plus. You can add whatever you want. So this one was the first one. It's untitled question. You can have multiple choice, check boxes, a drop down. Let's do a drop down. You have to have more than one. All right, we've got 3. drop down questions in that one. Now then you can go ahead and make it required or not. Let's make it required. And then if you want a description, you can check this and it will give you more text space to leave a description. And you can create logic where if they answer a certain question a certain way, it will go down to the next a specific section, but we're not going to do that. All right. If you want to duplicate this and just add a second new question, instead of recreating it all new, you can, or you can do this one, and we're going to do this one as just a short answer. So name. We'll do another one. Let's do mobile number. Say you want to get that. Let's go back here. And we're going to duplicate that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of this because, well, you may want to ask a specific question. So we're going to grab this and have this be at the very end. So right now on this form, we're going to have first name, last name, like up here where this, it's automatically going to give you the name of your, the name that you called this form, but you can go ahead and change it. So 5 easy ways to I don't know. I just came up with this. So 5 easy ways to monetize your message. And then if I wanted to make a description, I can, but it's going to be blank because I don't really want to. I don't think you can make this centered. I don't think you can do any kind of customization as far as the look and feel of what that title is. But I'm going to go down here. We're going to delete this because I don't want that in there. So basically, your description, you want to talk about what your lead magnet is, first name, last name, mobile number, and then you can ask maybe certain questions. How long have you been in business? I don't know, whatever questions, maybe where you're struggling in your business, something that's related to what you do because you want to pre-qualify them in any way or any way you can. That being said, you may want to then just get rid of last name and just do first name, mobile number, and one question, because the more things that you give them, the more chances you have of them not answering you. Now you're probably thinking, what about the email address? I'm going to get to that in a minute. So here, first name, we want to make that required. Mobile number, we don't necessarily need to require that. Maybe you can make the questions required, but I would have one that say none of these. So they can still proceed with the form and get your opt-in, because if you make it required, they can't proceed without checking something. So if they're going to go through the effort of checking something, they may end up by checking one of the ones that you have above. So I like to make that one required and just give them a none apply option. Okay, so far we have it done. Let's go ahead and hit preview so you can see what this is. And right now, when somebody hits that link, they're just going to go to this form and put their name in there, and then they're going to choose none apply and then name, and then they're going to hit submit. Okay, so now that form has been recorded just as a test, and you can see here already there's one response. I put my name, no number, and then I did none apply. So you can see the data that is going to be collected there. But let's go back to the questions, because I want you to see where we would collect their email. So we're going to go, we've already done the palette and the preview, but now we're going to go to the gear. This is where it gets fun. This is where we're going to say collect email addresses, which means that is something that is going to be required. You want them to have a response receipt? You could. Hit always. Require sign in. Limit one response. You only want people to make one response. You want them to edit after they submit. Maybe, maybe not. Probably not for this. But I'm going to do it just so you can see. I'm going to test it. There we go. Presentation. You would show a progress bar if there were lots of questions and you wanted them to make sure that they're knowing how far there are. And then of course a quiz, but we're not making a quiz. So right now the email address field is in there. And so anybody that fills it out will have to add that. All right. Oh. So submit another. Okay, so now I have to put my email in here. I'm doing it over. I'm going to hit submit. Now you can see here how everything is still kind of being connected. Now we've got 2 responses and boom. Okay. All right. So now the next thing we want to do is we want to connect this to a Google Sheet. Now, when you're on the responses, you're going to see this green box here that says create a spreadsheet. Now you can do 2 things. You can connect it. This is here when you can other response. These are other response actions, but what we're going to do is connect it to the spreadsheet. So we're going to go here, create a spreadsheet. Now we can either create a new spreadsheet, which is what you're going to be doing, or you can select it to an existing spreadsheet and then it'll allow you to choose the one that you want to connect it with, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to mess up my spreadsheets. Then I'm going to opt in test responses, and then I'm going to hit create. And then the cool thing is all of that data is now in the spreadsheet. And when I go to look at all of my other sheets, you're going to see that that has been added in here. So hopefully you found that to be a helpful lesson on what you can do. If you want to set this up and start collecting data and then take that form and add it into, embed it into your website like this option that I did, that's a great thing. But then the next step is to be able to email market them and to send them follow-up emails. And not all of you are ready to do that. But then if you are, and you end up by getting MailChimp, or one of my favorites is Ontraport, and I'm actually connecting into Cultivating Sales, which is a brand new one that's got lots of bells and whistles, including being able to put your courses on there. You would just take that Excel spreadsheet and upload it into the database of that tool, whatever you're using, and then voila, you're good to go. So hopefully that is helpful for you, and you found a way that you can use this as your opt-in process. Let me know if you have any questions, and I think that's all for now. Thank you.